All fine. Today's social lesson is gonna be about Indian achievement. Today we're gonna focus on the things that were done successfully by the Indians on skillful style. In terms of, guys, religious art, Sanskrit literature, and the scientific and medical progress that were done by the Indians. First of all, as you can see, guys, here, let's get started with religious art. Okay, so we are going to talk about the Indians' contributions concerning religious art. Yes, in the Indians of the Mauryan and Gupta periods created great works for art. How, guys? The Indians of the Mauryan and Gupta built a lot of wonderful paintings and sculptures in their temples, and these paintings and sculptures showed the Hindu and Buddhist religious teachings, as you can see here. Okay? Yes, concerning this. Next. What about temples, guys? How did they decorate their temples for their worshipping for their gods? As you can see here, yes, early Hindu temples were small stone structures. They have flat roofs and contained only one or two rooms. In the Gupta temples, guys, were topped by huge towers and were covered with carvings of the god worshipped inside. So here's a very important question that should be asked. How the early Hindu temples and the Gupta temples different? And what about the most famous temple and how was it like? So the difference between Hindu temples and the Gupta temples, that the Hindu temples were small stone structures and they had flat roofs and contained only one or two rooms. On the other hand, we're having here Gupta temples were topped by huge towers, and above these towers covered with carvings with some sculptures of the god worshipped inside. Yeah, as you can see, guys, here we need to know the most famous temple. Yes, if we go back here, yeah, can you see here? Another type of Buddhist temples was the stupa. Stupas had domed roofs and were built to house sacred items from the life of Buddha. Yeah. Let's go for page 148, paintings and sculptures. And sculptures here. What about the contributions of the painters and sculptors concerning paintings and sculptures, guys? What's meant by sculptures? Sculptures is kind of art for the Indians, which is made by using some materials like wood, like clay, like metal, and so on. It's okay to form some shapes for their gods, maybe on the shapes of statues. Okay, what was the description of the Indian paintings, guys? Yes, can you see the description of the most Indian paintings? Most Indian paintings from the Gupta period are clear and colorful. Can you see, guys, here? So the paintings were clear and colorful. And some of them show graceful Indians wearing fine jewelry and stylish clothes. Yes, right. So everything was decorated there, guys. The paintings were decorated, were flourishing. Yes, it had a lot of color. They had a lot of colors. Okay, how were the Indian sculptures skillful? Sculptures, guys, I said before, sculptures, those people whose job is to make stitches, you know, they start to carve stitches. Yes, like what? Can you see? Let's go for its paragraph. Yes, can you see the Indian here? The Indian sculptures also created great works. Many of their stitches were made for Buddhist cave temples. In addition to the temples, carved columns, you know columns, of course. Okay, you took it in math. Sculptors carved statue of kings and the Buddha. Some of these statues tower over the cave entrance. Hindu temples also features impressive statues of their gods, as I said. and here is a very important question, guys, should be asked here. How did religion influence ancient Indian art? How did religion influence ancient Indian art? Okay, the answer simply, guys, briefly, as I mentioned them before, that the painters draw their beliefs. Okay, so they draw their beliefs and their gods on the walls of their temples, right? Okay, let's go to another point. Sanskrit literature. Sanskrit literature. Yes, right, great. And we need to know the Indians' contributions concerning literature. Yes, what's meant by Sanskrit? We talked it before. Sanskrit is the old Indian language. Okay, yeah. And how was the Sanskrit literature flourished, means developed, during the Gupta period? Okay, let's see. What did the Indians do concerning the Sanskrit literature? Okay, he said here, as I said before, that Sanskrit was the main language of the ancient Aryans. During the Mauryan and Gupta periods, many works of the Sanskrit literatures were created. Yeah, and these works were later translated into many other languages. What about religious epics? It means, okay, stories and books. Take care. So I'm gonna, okay, make a summarizing for the whole passage because it's so long. That's why I'm gonna summarize everything and know where the main points concerning the religious epics, guys. Okay, so by using a very important question here, how the theme of the Mahabharata different from the theme of the Ramyans? Again, once more time, how is the theme of the Mahabharata different from the theme of the Ramyans? Okay, Mahabharata, guys, and Ramyans were old stories, old books, old two books that they were having a lot of stories. Okay, so what were they talking about? The Mahabharata, guys, is about the struggle, the fighting between two families, while the Ramayana, guys, is about the ideal love and devotion. Devotion means sincerity of each married couple. Okay, and the most famous epic is called, guys, take care of this name, we have to know it. Yes, right. Again, once more time. Yes, the most important one, famous epic or book is called Bhagavad Gita. Again, once more time. Yes, I want you to repeat after me. Bhagavad Gita. Okay, this was the most famous epic or book concerning literature. Okay, yes, we have other works here, as we can say. Other works, writers in the Gupta period also created plays, poetry, and other types of literature. Can you see the types of literature, guys? Yes, so the Indians created plays, poetry, and other types of literature. One famous writer, who was one of the most famous writers there at that time, was, can you see his name? Yes, Kaladesa. His work was so brilliant. Yes, right. Because of his intelligence in writing, okay, the epics and plays, poetry, so his work was so brilliant that Chandragupta II, this was a queen, hired him to write plays for the royal court. Yeah. Next. Yes. Okay, and what do you know about the, take care of these name, guys? Panchantra. Again, Panchantra. Again, once more time. Panchantra. Yeah. And what types of literature did the writers of ancient India create? We are going to tell you about them. What do you know about the Panchantra? Can you see here the Panchantra, guys? The stories in this collection were intended to teach lessons. Yes, right. So they praise people in this book. They praise people, say good words about them for cleverness and quick thinking. Each story ends with a message about winning friends. So each story, guys, should be ended with a message for the people to benefit from the story. Got it? Yes, right. So they taught in these stories how to be quick with it, how to be smart, how to be intelligent, and so on. Okay, next. So if I want to make a summary for you, it's okay. We know that's one of the most important writers. Okay, his name was, who can tell me, guys? Who can tell me? Yes, Kaladessa. Yes, right, Kaladessa. We said before that we know what you know about the types of literature. We know that the Indians created plays, stories, and poetry. Okay, let's go to another point. What about the Indians' scientific advances? Yes, right. Take care, scientific advances. Yes, here. Okay, what did they do in science? They were clever at making metalworking, guys. Metalworking. Yes, they made important advances in metalworking. Math. In metalworking, what did they do? They were the first people, they were the pioneer of metallurgy. What's meant by metallurgy? This is the science of working with metals. And they created metal weapons. They also created alloys. Again, alloys. What's meant by alloys? The mixtures of two or more metals, as you can see here. Yes. Okay, again once more time. I'm gonna repeat this point because it's very important. Again once more time. I said that the Indians made a very important advances in metalworking. Yes, in metalworking, they were the first people of metallurgy. The science of working with metals. And they created metal weapons. They also created alloys. So they made metallurgy, and they made alloys. What's meant by alloys? Mixtures of two or more metals. Okay, what about the Indian iron, guys? Iron was a trading goods. Why? Again, once more time, it's a very important question here. The Indian iron was a trading goods. Why? Because the iron was hard and pure. This was his description. And that's why the Indians built their pillars, their columns of the temples on which the roofs laid on out of iron, because it doesn't rust. What's meant by rust? Means brown substance that make the iron to weaken. Okay, it's second, guys. So what about here? Their achievement in metals. So they made metallurgy and they made alloys. Okay? I think it's clear right now. Okay. Let's go to mathematics and other sciences. And what about the other achievements of the Indians in mathematics? What did you do to make the mathematics be flourished and developed? Okay, let's go here. Mathematics and other sciences. As you can see, Gupta scholars also made advances in math and science. In fact, they were among the most advanced mathematicians of their day. They developed many elements of our modern math system. The very numbers we use them today are called Hindu-Arabic numerals, because they were created by Indian scholars and brought to Europe by Arabs. Again, guys, I'm going to repeat this point. It's a very important point concerning the contributions of the Indians in the field of mathematics. What did they do? Number one, the scholars made and developed many elements of our modern system, especially the numbers. And we use them today. The numbers that we use them today, guys, they were created by the Indians. Okay? And are called Hindu-Arabic numerals. Why are they called by that name? Because they were created by the Arabs and brought to Europe by the Arabs. Sorry, they were created by the Indians and they were brought to Europe by Arabs. So, number two, the Indians as well, guys, they created zero. Yes, as you can see here, they created zero. Can you see here? The Indians were also the first people to create the zero. Yes, although it may seem like a small thing, modern math wouldn't be impossible without the zero. Yes, right, great. Next, what about the Indians' contribution in medical sciences? Before we're going to move to this point, I want to get back again to what were the contributions of the Indians in the field of mathematics. I said before, guys, that the Gupta scholar made and developed many elements of our math system, especially the numbers. So the numbers, guys, that we are using them today or nowadays, they were created by the Indians, okay? And they were brought to Europe by the Arabs. That's why the numbers, guys, they were called Hindu-Arabic numerals. Okay. And number two, the second contribution of the Indians, that they invented zero. Yes. What about the Indians' contribution in medical sciences? We will see right now. Yes, in medical sciences. They made in science. Yes, we're going to move to this point. Yes. In medical sciences. They made medicine from plants and minerals. This is the first point. This is the first contribution, guys. If you read this carefully, we're going to conclude that they made medicine from plants and minerals. Number two, the Indians doctors used inculation. What's meant by this? Injection. It means a person, they injected, they put, okay, small amount of virus to help the person to build up a defense against diseases. Yes, right. And this is okay that we are trying to do right now concerning coronavirus. Number three, doctors could perform surgery. Surgery, yes, surgeons, doctor who is performing medical operations. Like what? What are kinds of operations, guys, that they were doing? Can you see, guys, here that they were performing, the surgeons or doctors? For people who were injured, Indian doctors could perform surgery. Surgeons repaired broken bones, treated wounds or injuries, removed infected tonsils, reconstructed broken noses, and even reattached torn earlobes. If they could find no other cure, if there is no remedy, guys, what should they do at that point? I'm gonna tell you. Can you see here? What if they didn't have a cure or remedy for that disease? They headed for casting magic spells. They started to use magic. Can you see? Yes. What about here? Indian interest in astronomy. Astronomy, guys, the study of stars and planets. So they start to head to the field of astronomy if they didn't have or find the cure or the remedy for the disease. Okay, so they start to spell some magic words and they start to head for astronomy. It means the study of stars and planets.